What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest robot vacuums and mops called the Obody P8. So this is a device that will keep your floors clean without you having to do much, and this is also a device that gets more advanced mopping than most other robot vacuums available on the market. Now, we've all seen the typical robot vacuum that just drags around your floor a wet cloth. Well, this is not the case. So this one actually gets two mop brushes at the bottom that constantly spin. Compared to other similar products available on the market, because there are two other robot vacuums that kind of do something like this one puts more pressure onto the floor, therefore the scrubbing is better with these brushes. Something that I haven't seen before is this little water tank that we have inside it here. Now, you don't have to fill up that water tank yourself. That water tank gets filled from the washing station. I can't really put the washing station on my desk here, it's too big. But there is a washing station that fills up that little water tank, and from that washing station the vacuum also gets to wash these mop brushes every so often. You do get to decide how often the vacuum washes the brushes. There is an app that works with the vacuum, and you can select how wet the floor should be, the suction power of the vacuum, and of course how often these brushes should be washed. The washing station is also the docking station for the vacuum, so the vacuum sits in there charging whenever it's not vacuuming or mopping your floors. That station washes these mop brushes whenever the vacuum is done a cleaning cycle or whenever you select it to wash these, and once it's doing that, it also dries them with hot air. It takes about an hour and a half to dry them, and that's definitely a good thing because you definitely don't want mold in the washing station there. The bottom of the washing station can also be removed and cleaned, so you're gonna have to clean that every so often. Personally, I clean it once a week and it's good enough like that. Inside the washing station, we also have two water tanks. One water tank is with clean water, so you're gonna fill up that one with clean water, and the other tank is the dirty water that comes out whenever you're washing the pads here, basically. And you're gonna notice that if you haven't washed your floors for a while, that water is pretty dirty. At the top of the washing station, we also have a couple of buttons and a few lights that will show you whatever the vacuum is doing. So if it's washing the pads, you're gonna see a little LED saying that it's washing the pads. If it's drying the pads, you're gonna see that. And there is also a Bluetooth light. So the base is connected to the vacuum through Bluetooth. The vacuum itself looks somewhat familiar, even though we don't have that round shape that we typically see with a lot of robot vacuums these days. So on the front here we have a variety of sensors and also a bumper. So if the vacuum doesn't see something in its way, it will bump into that and then it will go around it. The bumper also has this rubberized strip at the bottom here, so even if it hits some furniture, it's not gonna damage the furniture because we do have that rubber strip right here. At the top we have three buttons, and we also have the LiDAR navigation system. So this vacuum will map out your entire house. It knows exactly where it's been, it knows exactly where it has to go, and it knows exactly where the docking station is. So whenever it needs to wash the brushes here, or whenever it runs out of power, it will go back to the charging station and wash these or recharge. Now this one does about 2.5 hours on one charge, so more than the typical vacuum that I've seen. A typical vacuum like this one, I'm gonna say. So on one charge it should be able to finish your entire house. At the top here, of course, we have the dustbin that can be removed, so you can take out all the dust from it, and we also have the filter that can be washed or replaced depending on what you're doing. And as I said earlier, we have that small water tank that will get filled from the washing station. You can manually fill that up as well, but I personally just let it fill up itself from the washing station. And turning the vacuum around, basically we have two side brushes. Those side brushes will push all the dirt towards the main brush, and underneath the main brush we basically have the main suction hole. That main brush at the bottom can easily be removed and cleaned. That will pick up a lot of hair on it, depending on your environment, depending on who you live with, and so on. In my case, I do have to clean that every 4 or 5 days because it does catch a lot of hair on it, but it's super simple to remove and clean. And of course we have the spot where the mopping brushes are gonna be sitting. As I mentioned earlier, these attach the bottom of the vacuum with magnets, and the base here is made out of plastic, but you can easily remove the cloth and wash it if you want to. So you can throw this in the washing machine, for example, and then put it back and then attach it to the bottom of the vacuum. And at the bottom there we also have a variety of sensors. So for example, the vacuum is not gonna fall down the stairs. If you do have stairs, personally I don't have any stairs here, so I wasn't able to try that, but I've seen a lot of vacuums that are like this. So this is not gonna fall down the stairs because it has a variety of sensors underneath. Like most robot vacuums these days, this connects to your home's Wi-Fi network and you can control it from an app on your smartphone. The app will be available for iOS and Android. At this time, this is a pre-release unit, so the app isn't actually available in the App Store, but it will be available whenever this becomes available to the public. I've noticed that they're pushing a lot of updates. They're trying to make those apps better. So pretty much every morning when I get up, I get another update on the app, and I can also send the developers feedback if there is something wrong with the app. So from the app there, that's how you interact with the vacuum. If you want to change any settings for it, you go into the app and you change settings from there. If you want to select the suction power, so you can choose different suction powers for the vacuum, you can change that from there. You select how wet the mop brushes should be and how often the vacuum should go to the washing station and wash this. So you can select all that, of course. And you can also select if you want the vacuum to just vacuum, or if you want it to just mop, or if you want it to first vacuum and then mop, and so on. I did notice that whenever you have this mopping, it is extremely quiet. You can barely hear it going around the room. I mean, if I'm in this room and the vacuum is mopping on the other side of the door, there is a good chance that they're not gonna hear it. But again, it really depends how if you're using it to the maximum suction power, if you're just using it for mopping and so on. So it depends if you're home or if you're not. Since we have a LiDAR navigation system, of course, this vacuum will map out your entire house and it will kind of number your rooms. So if you want to send this to the kitchen, for example, you can just open the app, click on the kitchen, and the vacuum will go and clean just the kitchen. You can also set schedules for it. So let's say that you go to work at 9 in the morning. Well, you can have it start a cleaning cycle like 9:30 in the morning or whatever. The same goes for do not go zones. So if you don't want the vacuum to go in a certain part of a room, you can just open the app and make a little do not go zone. Or if you spill something on the floor, once again, you open the app and you can select where the vacuum should go clean. So everything is done from the app itself. Cleaning wise, this does an amazing job at mopping. So I've used this at my two apartments, so where I'm filming this video now, and at my new apartment. My new apartment was filthy, the floors were super filthy, so I had it mop those floors like 4 or 5 times, and now finally that water from the waste bin doesn't look as dirty anymore. But at first it was filthy. I actually had to wash these multiple times in the washing machine because they were getting really dirty. So for mopping, it does an extremely good job with this setup. For suction power, we have a 2000 PA suction power on this particular model. So if you have hard floors, it will suck up everything without any issues. If you do have carpets, because we have that brush underneath, that brush will kind of move all the dirt around, all the dust, and it's easier to be sucked up. So overall, it does do a really good job at mopping, and probably the best mopping that I have seen for any other vacuum out there. Now, this is a crowdfunding project, and of course this is a pre-release unit. They're still a few months away from releasing this to the public, so they're constantly changing this, they're constantly working on those apps. So I can't really call this video a review. This is more of a preview or a presentation of this product, because this is not the final version of this. Well, I'm sure it will look just like this, but they will make small tweaks here and there based on the feedback that they receive. So far, it does a really good job at mopping, definitely the best mopping that I've seen, and that is done through these and the fact they put more pressure onto the floor. Of course, it goes back to that washing station, they get washed and so on. So the mopping feature from this is one of the best that I have seen from any vacuum out there. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful. Thanks for watching. If you do have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer your questions. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.